Grand Rising family, check in. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt, and we have our special guest in the background waiting to come on to teach us about the relationship between fitness and finance. So come on in the room, family, check in and let us know where you're hailing from. And we'll be back in just a few seconds. We're going to go out, play a little intro music, and then we're going to get started with our amazing show with Coach Bay in just a few minutes. Check in, family.
She's helping her tribe to realign with wisdom, ancient and new, showing what we all can do.
All right, family. I see y'all in the background. Check in. Let us know where you're hailing from. Welcome. We're going to get started today. Today is Thursday, January the 29th, 2026, and the time is 1:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to have a wonderful show today talking about the relationship between finances and fitness. Do you understand and understand that when you're disciplined with your physical regimen, that will transfer over to the other areas of your life, including finances. So, we're going to talk about how your regimen or lack thereof will impact your finances. If you are physically disciplined, you can potentially become very wealthy. Well, today we have an expert today, somebody who's adept in finances and fitness and wealth management and credit, an amazing young man by the name of Jawan Mutabakir Bey, or Coach Bey. Coach Bey was on my show the other day with economist Dex Lattimore talking about credit and financial fitness and budgeting and how important that is in terms of accumulating wealth and leaving wealth for your posterity. This young man assists in with business and with finances. He's a very busy individual. He helps adults build muscles and lose fat with various forms of structured training. Structured training takes discipline and sustainable nutrition. Coach Bey focuses on helping other people utilize accountability, consistency, and discipline to become the greatest version of themselves. In other words, he helps you to become highly self-actualized in your finances, in your physical fitness, and in your life. This gentleman was a former collegiate athlete, so he knows what he's talking about, but he gained his experience through personal transformation. He strives to use his approaches to help uplift fallen humanity and be the way. You know how people say that they're looking for the way or show me the way? He helps you to be the way, family. So I am so excited to have this very young man, very fit, adept man, also known as the Adept Moore. He's on YouTube, as a matter of fact, as the Adept Moore. We'll talk more about that. He has his own business, a family man, a very disciplined young man, a very fit young man. Okay, here today to talk about the relationship between fitness and finance. No, none other than our special guest, Coach Bey. Welcome, Coach Bey. Come on in the room. How are you?
I'm well. Peace and love. Peace and love to the Sword Tribe. Peace and love to you.
Somebody says, all I see. Oh, gosh. Some people just. Go ahead, Coach Moore. Coach Bey, I apologize.
No, I was just saying peace and love. Of course, I'm Jawan Mutabakir Bey. You all can call me Coach Bey. Here to just discuss about the correlation of fitness and finance, and also how gratitude and discipline is necessary in those areas as well.
Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, it's interesting because when you talk to people about becoming wealthy, that's something that, makes our ears perk up. But sometimes when you mention how discipline will help you in that area, we're not as excited about hearing about discipline. So that's why I think this podcast is very important.
Right. No, that's true indeed. And again, discipline is what's going to move you to, do those things that you're reluctant to do. Yes. Sometimes even when you don't feel like it and motivation dies, then what are you going to do? Discipline kind of gears that motivation to more intrinsic than extrinsic. The internal satisfaction over looking at outside rewards that you'll receive for, doing certain things. So it's very imperative to have it.
Yes, sir.
Pull up this presentation here.
So where do we start when you talk about a relationship between fitness and finance? Most people don't even know there is a relationship. How do we start that conversation?
Okay. Well, let me pull up this presentation because I'll break down what fitness and finance is.
Okay.
And then we can just go from there to give a kind of a background for people to see.
Now, did you want to say anything more about your fitness practice or anything more about your financial background before we get started? Are we good?
No, we good. I can do it a little bit after.
Okay.
After we go through this. Are you able to see this?
I can see it.
Okay, excellent. So I titled this Fitness Correlating with Finance.
But it's not up on the screen. Should I bring it up on the screen? Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it. Okay.
Fitness correlating with finance. And I don't know if we'll be able to move the slideshow.
All right.
Now I see that you sent it to me. I can also bring it up. Okay, there it is.
Okay. All right, did you see it?
Check-in family,
Can you
we're
see that
talking
now?
about, yes, we're talking about the
Okay.
relationship between, we're talking about the relationship in fitness and finance. Oh, you guys can see it because a lot of us are in the RV movement, the revaluation of currencies, and a lot of us are accumulating wealth or establishing our own family banks, our single family offices for the purposes of managing the wealth that we all will have. Well, this special guest is going to talk about the importance of discipline and how when you utilize discipline with your nutrition and your fitness, it will help you to continue to accumulate wealth, and it will help you to maintain your wealth. This is why we're bringing on this show for today. All right, I'm ready.
And it's especially critical during these times as we're making that transition to the new system or this new currency and going through this great wealth transfer. Emotions can be heightened. You know, a lot of people have been waiting 5, 10, 15, 20 years to see things coming to fruition. But using that fitness or the discipline and having gratitude will kind of keep you grounded until things, unfolded.
Yes.
All right. So what is fitness? So we'll go to the etymology, which goes back to 1570s, which says a state or quality of being suitable, from fit plus ness, meaning a state of being physically fit. And that's from 1935. So we see 1570s up to 1935 pretty much said the same thing. And there are several variations of fit, which traces back to the 13th century at the earliest and meant adversary of equal power. So I always like to do the etymology of certain terms.
Makes
so we
sense.
kind of get a background as to how things transition over time. And so we see that this concept of fitness deals with a form of being or action that's taking place. All right. Now, this is also based on the fitness, the way we look at it today,
Yes.
a more formalized version, which is why Frederick Louis John and Johann Goots Moose has been considered to be the grandfather of gymnastics. Also, Jack LaLanne being credited with being the father of fitness for America during the 19th century. However, fitness can be traced back even further, as we all know, to Confucians, Egyptians, Hindus, Chinese, and even Olmecs. All right.
Yes, sir.
What is finance? Well, again, 1400, an end, settlement, retribution, from Old French finance and ending, pardon, remission, payment, expense, settlement of a debt. The sense of management of money, science of monetary business was first recorded in English during 1770. So again, we see that transition there. Most of the time when we hear finance, we think about how we're getting into something. We want to finance a car, finance, furniture.
Right.
We don't think of settlement when it comes to finance. So you see in the beginning, early on in the 1400s, that's what that definition was, and it morphed over time. And which, just like fitness, is proof that the formalized version of finance we use today is what those being labeled as the founders of finance is being referenced to. Alexander Hamilton serving as the first U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, as well as Harry Markowitz, Eugene Fromm, and Merton Miller established financial theory. And we can also trace finance back to Kemet, Egypt, and the likes in a form of bartering with grains, gold, silver rings, etc.
Can I say something right quick? This is a very, very important podcast. And I was wondering why a lot of people aren't tuning in, but I just realized YouTube had it made for kids. So when you have it made for kids, it comes up differently and people can't comment. And it's just interesting how the algorithm, now I had it not set for children. So I don't know. It's just interesting how the powers that be, the structure that's in place will prevent certain information from getting out there the way it should or it needs to. I just wanted to say that. So now I've reset the settings on YouTube. So now people, you all can comment. Now I apologize for that. All right, Coach Beck.
It's all good. The ones that get it, consider them to be, graceful
Yes,
and
sir.
lucky, I guess.
Yes,
So
sir.
forms of fitness, we have emotional or mental, financial, physical, and spiritual. That's
Mm,
the four categories I use today to explain
okay.
fitness. So no matter how we view the various forms of fitness, they all apply to these four categories.
Mm,
Most forms of fitness also help with these four categories at the same time. For example,
mm,
Tai Chi, Qigong, using the flow of the breath or that life
mm.
force, moving around to little to no movement or even stationary movement, building up chi to higher amounts, as well as yoga, geared towards emotional and spiritual fitness. Yet they can benefit financially and physically as well.
Okay.
All right. And then, for example, a lot of people practitioners of Tai Chi or Qigong, financially, they'll utilize what we call feng shui.
Yes.
You organize your house or certain things in your life a certain way to keep that flow of current or currency in to make things shift for you as far
Okay.
as monetarily.
Okay.
Now, the only form of fitness that can be limited
Yes,
if
sir.
if the proper work hasn't been done, meaning
Mm-hmm.
the shadow work before is physical, mainly because it become a gross level or low vibratory once steroids and worldly validation gets involved.
Okay.
I mean, that's what we see a lot of, not to knock them, but a lot of bodybuilders aren't really spirit builders. They just focus on the gross level, which is just the flesh. And we know that
Okay.
we're not just the body.
Yes, sir.
Forms of finance would do income slash wages, investing, financial protection, and saving and spending. So these four categories are based on personal finance, although they have their place in corporate, public, and even international finance as well. All right. So
Yes, sir.
personal is the more direct approach before
Mm-hmm.
most transition to the other areas. For
Mm-hmm.
example, income would be the evaluation of a business profit and loss statement, while wages would be what an employee would make while we're working for an employer. Now, this is intriguing because there's an income tax, or we have to file our taxes to pay income taxes, or to receive income taxes, but there's no wage tax. So
Mm.
we don't make income as employees, we make wages. Businesses get income. So
Okay.
why would we be filing, our wage tax? Why wouldn't wages be considered uh, when you're looking into that W-2 and things like that? You know, but as we know how the system is ran and the remedy behind that, and also that the 16th Amendment wasn't ever ratified. So, but I'll just leave it there. But it's just interesting that most people don't question that and say, "Oh, I'm receiving wages from my employer. I'm not receiving income." So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And investing would be using those wages and putting them into a vehicle that help them grow over time. Protection would be the strategy such as a trust or LLC, along with savings and even investing. Lastly, spending is self-explanatory. We all know how to
Yes.
spend, yet it's imperative to spend responsibly. If not, it could lead to financial hardships.
Yeah, well, you might have to talk about spending responsibly later, what that means.
Okay, I definitely will. And
Okay.
so, what is the correlation?
Mm.
And this we're going to get into that correlation of fitness and finance. So, what I'll do is
Okay.
I'll pull up this article. Are you able to see this article?
I just see the correlation. No, I don't see an article.
Okay.
I don't think.
Well, I'll just stop sharing and then.
Family, you are listening to Coach Bay, also known as Illuminated Fitness, or what else? The Adept More on YouTube, and he's going to talk to us about the relationship, as you know, between fitness and finances. As you're listening to him, if you are interested in supporting his work, he's going to tell you how you can reach him, but you can also send a donation to Illuminated Fitness, $ Illuminated Fitness. The way you can contact him, and he's going to talk more about why you might need to contact him, is through email, illuminatedfitness7@gmail.com. Okay, without any further ado, I will bring this up here. Did you want me to bring it up, or are you going to bring it up?
Yeah, I got it up.
You got it? Oh,
Yes, ma'am. Can you see it?
I don't see it on the screen. I can bring it up though. Here, I can add it to the stage.
Okay.
So if I don't add it to the stage, I don't see it.
All right.
Yes, he's the coach. David says, "Coach, yes."
All right. So you can't see that one either, right?
No,
Okay.
I just see it on in the background, and I can pull it up, but it's not on our
Okay.
screen.
Can you pull it up possible? If
Absolutely.
Possible? So I just read it there.
Okay.
All right. All right. So this says, well, we'll start with the beginning title: "Fit and Financially Healthy." Now, this is Experian. So, Soap Tribe, don't be upset with me. Active young people are less likely to miss payments and have double the savings. All right.
Really?
Run for your money. Literally.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Active young people are less likely to miss payments. I never heard that before.
Mm-hmm.
Physically active.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wow.
So we already see it. So we get into that correlation to bring things together. Okay. All right. Run for your money. Now, we're talking literal.
Okay.
Now, we're not saying chase money because we don't chase anything, we attract. But
right.
Run for your money means utilizing the health, you're working your cardiovascular system, what helps attract the money is what it's pretty much saying. All right. So Experian partners with the hardest geezer to encourage young people to be disciplined when tackling their financial goals. All right. Experian's latest study found a link between financial well-being and physical fitness, with young people who regularly exercise having double the savings of those who don't, as well as being less likely to miss payments for essential services.
Wow.
Right. Mm-hmm. New Experian data shows that responsible credit use is on the rise among the fitness-conscious under 30 generation, with missed payments falling by 8% over the past year. Russ Cook, the hardest geezer, no stranger discipline in the pursuit of ambitious goals, is urging young people to continue to be disciplined in the pursuit of their financial objectives. Now, this applies young and old, in my opinion. So it's just anyone who's active. Now, a London study from June 17th, 2025 says fitness conscious young people are significantly more likely to have a financial plan, 92% than those who don't exercise, the 54%, according to new research conducted by Experian. The firm's data also shows that responsible credit use is trending upwards among young people. Since 2020, there has been a 12% increase in the number of 18 to 24-year-olds holding credit cards and an 8% drop in missed payments, signaling a shift towards more mindful money management. So this is what I was talking about, that spending responsibly example, right? Not using for leisure, but
yes,
for things that's necessary. This age group still has the highest proportion of people missing payments, with 8% falling into arrears within 12 months of an opening card, highlighting the need for continued support and accessible financial tools. Yet, with 90% of Gen Z who regularly exercise having a financial plan, there is a clear link between physical fitness and financial discipline among young adults. Those who exercise regularly have 5,080 pounds silver in savings. So that's $7,009.97 in USD. All right. And double that of those who don't exercise regularly, which is $2,511. 2,511 pounds silver. And that's $3,464.97 USD. 3 in 4 people who exercise infrequently say that they have missed a payment, which makes them 24% more likely to default on those who are physically active. All right, so that's it for that article, that part I was going to share.
Okay, so I should take that down?
Yes, ma'am. I want to go back to the presentation.
Okay.
So that's intriguing, and just intriguing numbers to come across, because again, fitness and finance being correlated is not really even thought about like that.
No, it's not.
All right.
So the more physically fit
So-
you are, the more likely you are to make your payments on time.
Exactly, according to this experience study. And so
Okay.
your return on investment, your ROI or return on investment is literally up to you. So in this study, there's a choice to keep an extra $3,545 just by implementing fitness or losing it by not doing so. Again, according to the study. Now, are you able to see the PowerPoint
I don't
now?
see the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Let me see. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Is this it? Yes. This is
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yep. Yes. All right. So we see that not being physically fit can cause financial burdens. So wouldn't the lack of emotional or mental, spiritual, and financial fitness also apply? Of course it would. And in this scenario, emotional or mental fitness looks like acknowledging the stress one may have about an upcoming payment instead of spending for leisure, adjusting expectations about the unnecessary spending, and use the funds to make the payment that's due. So don't force perfection, just stay adaptive. All right. Now, spiritually, this applies, based on principle. We can use any form. However, let's go to the book that most are familiar with, the book of Proverbs.
Yes.
And we'll go to Proverbs 22:7. And it says, the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. So this verse will force you to analyze if you absolutely need to get into the situation to be a borrower or not. And if one does, then they should know, especially during the time period we're living in, that there's a remedy. So just as we utilize the breath in our spiritual practice, we do the same for situations involving potential or missed payments. In the Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 1, it states, man will regain his birthright, his lost estate, his heritage, but he must do it in a conflict that cannot be told in words.
Okay.
So exercising this discipline, using this spiritual fitness, emotional fit, mental fitness, some of those ways that you'll do it that can be told in words. Financially, stand responsible for what you spend would apply. Now, financial fitness is the knowledge and ability to manage money effectively, which involves tracking spending and reducing debt. So that's also how we spend responsibly. We have a budget, we have a plan, we set intentions. We just don't do things haphazardly just because things might be available or based on impulse or emotions.
Right.
All right. And so far we see how emotional, mental, financial, physical, and spiritual fitness is intertwined with finance when it comes to saving and spending. So let's analyze how they correlate when earning is involved.
Okay.
All right. And Dr. Key, if you will pull up. Let me stop sharing my screen. I have another article that I want to share. And I like to use articles because it's kind of like proof of your work.
Yes.
And allows sometimes the best articles I can get sometimes as far as because like when I was in college, I was in majoring in psychology, and they always made sure that we wanted to show our articles and try to use peer review articles as well, as because you're the master of psychology.
Thank you.
PhD. So
I don't think some people understand the amount of work that goes into presentations, because when you are college educated, you have to support your claims, or else it doesn't matter.
Right.
Can't just say anything.
True indeed. All right. So childhood physical activity and adulthood earnings. So we send a link here. We childhood physical activity and adulthood earnings. So this is saying if you set a foundation early, later on in adulthood, that could behoove you in your earnings. So
Mm-hmm.
this study examined the association between childhood physical activity level and adulthood earnings. And I'll just briefly go over the methods, and then I'll go back to the PowerPoint to kind of sum it
Okay.
up. The data were drawn from the ongoing longitudinal Young Fin study, which was combined with register-based Finnish longitudinal employer-to-employee data and register-based parents' background information from the longitudinal population census of statistics, Finland. The study consisted of children who were 9 years old, 12 years old, and 15 years old at the time when physical activity was measured. The children were followed until 2010 when they were between 33 and 45 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Leisure time, physical activity in childhood was self-reported, whereas earnings in adulthood were registered based on and covered over a 10-year period from 2000 to 2010. Ordinary least squares models were used to analyze the relationship between physical activity and earnings. So they was tracking these children to see how they would end up in adulthood as far as financially. So we see that a longitudinal study found that higher levels of physical activity in childhood were associated with significantly higher earnings in adulthood. Oh, my fault. Let me share my screen again one more time before I go back into that. No, apologies for that.
Well, that makes me wonder about athletes. So do our athletes typically higher earners even after they leave sports?
Not so. And from my personal experience, that's why from my personal experience, I'll say not necessarily, but
Okay.
that's why you'll see these shows like ESPN did I believe it was like a 30 for 30 or something like that about athletes being broke after they retire or 4 years after they're in the league, because the money is just coming so fast. And then not all athletes come from backgrounds where people was focusing on financial literacy. I think this study is more of a generalization, because usually, I mean, if we're talking specifically our athletes, we use athletics as an in-game type situation. We don't use athletics as something to extract the principles from, to apply in business and stuff like that. We just use it for, I'm going to the league. So that's really, you know what I mean? So that's really, that's all in our mind, majority of us anyway, speaking of so-called Black people. From my experience alone, because I had that mindset as well, and then others around me as well. So that's kind of the experience I'm going off of. And again, if that foundation isn't set, growing up in those, usually those rural areas, financial discipline or financial literacy is not really a huge focus, if you will.
Okay. Oh, yes. Somebody is chiming in. It's Inner World says, I saw that more than 70% of them, speaking of athletes, file for bankruptcy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And because again, these athletes are, I mean, they're exceptional athletes. And it's just proof. The fact that they're able to make it professionally in sports is proof of how intelligent they are. They're just utilizing the energy in a different area. But because of that, it's kind of like, why would I inform you how to manage your money if I can make money off of your lack of knowledge?
I see.
I mean, why not just keep the cycle going? So that's these people that they get around. That's more likely their approach to that.
But as for us, everyday people, like we're not in a league per se, but if we are physically disciplined, we can translate that or transfer that over into our financial life.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And again, athletes, they have the propensity to do so. Again, it's just once you're at that level and then everything's given to you, lifestyle just comes enormously egregious. I don't know. It's just like a party every day.
Yeah.
You usually they'll find themselves thinking about that after the fact. Like Odell Beckham recently said that. Are you familiar with Odell Beckham?
No.
Yeah, he went to the University of Louisiana, LSU University. He was a wide receiver, ended up going to the NFL. Pretty good, well, awesome football player.
Okay.
But he was on a couple of podcasts saying that $100 million isn't a lot of money.
What?
Yeah. And now this dude, I mean, he probably didn't have to do much, coming up as far as like school and things like that, because he's just so talented. He can just kind of breeze through, not really have to think too much of how things going. Now I don't know about his parenting situation and things like that. I'm just going ideally based on what he said and what made him probably get there, because obviously $100 million is a lot of money. You can live off less than, what you earn, but it's just that lifestyle that they choose to live. He's saying he was spending $4 million a year, just on lifestyles, cars, clothes, jewelry, mortgages, and things like that. When you see Warren Buffett, this man is a billionaire, and he dressed like, he dressed like Mr. Rogers,
Right.
He not flash or anything like that, and he's had the same house for several years. And it's not to blame that way of living as anything like that, but it's just like, what's your why? What are you? If you already have the name, why do you need the extra attention? You know what I mean?
Yes.
And again, there's not many people around it that's going to say, hey, you got this contract, live off $300,000 a year. You know what I mean? Invest, into some bonds or some index funds or some use compounding interest to your advantage instead of being a victim of it. So no one's around who's really going to do that, because for one, they're paying him and they want to keep getting paid.
That's
the way they're getting paid. So they just want to keep the cycle going. But again, like I say, everybody has the ability to utilize it. And that's why I'm also kind of using these forms of fitness, because we don't want to just focus just on physical, because as you can see, some of these things correlate emotionally or mental, spiritually, and then financially as well. So we want to have full circle, 360 degrees as we take in our approaches. All right, so the longitudinal study found that higher levels of physical activity in childhood were associated with significantly higher earnings in adulthood. Roughly 12 to 25% more in annual income for men who were more active as kids. It suggests that physical habits early in life can carry over to long-term economic outcomes. Emotionally or mentally, this applies by seeing the willingness just to show up as you transition to adulthood, showing up for the interview, your community, children, or even to the gym when you're tired. And like 80 to 90% of the time, taking that first step is simply, showing up. Now, as a child, board games like Monopoly, Connect Four, chess, or even Cash Flow for Kids can be utilized for financial fitness. All right.
I'm gonna say that I'm a text that to myself. What were the name of those board games? I can't see it if you got it on the screen. What were those names again? Those games?
Okay, it's Monopoly. Of course, Monopoly. That's what society is, pretty much. Monopoly is it's pretty on point to that. Connect Four. That's just to get the synapses is firing and thinking about strategy. Obviously, chess obviously is the way of life as well, and even the Cash Flow for Kids. Now that's a board game by Robert Kiyosaki. He created that. There's also one for adults as well. Okay. Then the Rich Dad Poor Dad series.
Yes.
Are you familiar with that series? Yeah.
Oh yes.
Exactly. Talking about that last time. So that
Dex introduced me to that. He picked up that book from my sister-in-law when she had a private school. She taught all of our kids, and he picked up that book and read it at 8 years old, and he started talking to me about Robert Kiyosaki then. So yes, I'm familiar.
Look at that. Now see, look at that point. Now how many Now I started playing football at 8 years old.
Okay.
You see what I mean? That's when I started playing football. Rich Dad Poor Dad was the last thing on my mind. So you can kind of see that how you were mentioning it about it correlating to adulthood as far as athletes, and it's just going to be rare because we're looking up to other professional athletes and not really focusing on financial literacy. So, but now if you can incorporate younger athletes like your son, like Dex was doing, then it could be I feel like we have better outcomes to support that claim. I think this is just a rough study, a rough estimate over a general population, not really so-called, not a lot of so-called Black people probably were involved here. But yeah, but that Cash Flow for Kids talks about basically lets you know the difference between assets and liabilities early.
Okay.
All right. So these can be used for financial fitness. Okay. And spiritually, starting setting that foundation, because we talking about childhood, right?
Yes.
Meditation, Tai Chi, or yoga to enhance the spiritual alignment that's already there. Because as children, we're pretty much pure. We just, as we get older, due to conditioning, influence, we tend to lose our purity and suppress our inner child and become an adult, which makes us lose connection to that, the spiritual realm, pretty much, or that spiritual connection. All right.
Absolutely.
And
people in the chat are saying they remember those games that you mentioned.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's great to hear. And so let me pull up this screen, share this real quick.
Okay. Get out of here.
Because I want to pull up that meditation picture if I can. Let's see if I can share that. So we can see, because people say meditate. Oh, I don't meditate. I'd rather just run to my thoughts stop. Well, I mean that's meditation.
Run.
Yeah.
Run until my thoughts stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I ain't got to meditate, sit down and light up no incense and do no mantras and all this. The more commercialized version, which meditation is really just that the state where the I and me is absent. The state of stillness, and you can use meditation with dancing, of course, exercising if you meditation, but it's just deep contemplation or concentration. That's essentially that's all it really is. Nothing too too spectacular, but it helps you control your emotions and just helps you transition better in life. So yes, addicts brains often exhibit increased beta brainwave activity, particularly in a high beta range from 32 to 40 hertz. This elevated beta activity is associated with states of cortical hyperexcitability, neurodisinhibition, and enhanced arousal. So just talking about the brains of the addicts. All right, so breath work has been shown to shift brain waves from beta to alpha and theta states. This transition moves practitioners from a state of stress and anxiety associated with high beta waves, right, in which they're using the addict's brain to show those high beta waves, to more relaxed meditative states, alpha waves, and even deep meditation or creativity, which is theta waves.
When you talk about breath work, that makes me think of yoga. I know a lot of people think that yoga, and you can help me with this, is somehow anti-God or anti-good. But what I noticed from doing yoga, that's holding certain poses and doing certain breath work, is that I have mental clarity. My body feels well. I actually eat less. I lose weight. I feel more disciplined. My energy is higher. So I'm not understanding the disconnect for some people, but for me, when you do yoga, you do breath work. It is the combination of mind, body, and spirit is breath. And we do some meditation, incorporate that in there. And it just seems to help me. So would you say that you can do breath work in yoga as well? That's what I've experienced.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And yoga simply means to unite. So you're uniting your mind, body, and soul connection to become whole. That's and that's why we're all here. I mean, yeah, we incarnated to shift the paradigm and to live that out, but we're also here to burn up the karma. And the karma that we might taken on in a previous form and things like that. And then the more karma we burn up, the more we are the more gifts we get spiritually. So yes, yoga is absolutely, I believe in Hebrew it's called ruach, I believe, the breath or spirit. But it helps you raise the kundalini, which is, you know, the goal of most certain yoga practices, to reach a stage of enlightenment, which is pretty much, you know, full awareness or full consciousness of your reality spiritually. So yeah, if yoga means to yoke or link back or connect or unite, then the whole being demonic and things is more of dogma, you know, from the church and other, you know, areas.
You know, I walked into a church one day, and I had some certain type of jewelry on that must have made somebody, and I know this guy very well, think about Kundalini. He knows I'm into yoga and everything. And he just went on a rampage, just preaching, you got that Kundalini energy coming in the church. You're nothing but a sexual deviant being. And I see you coming in here with your jewelry. And I'm sitting up here like, I know you very well. All you had to do was come talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And Kundalini is being sexual and demonic. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the dogma has really, you know, infiltrated our minds.
Yeah. Like prana just means breath. So you're literally using the breath to increase the life force in your body. Like there's this energy that sits at the base of your spine. You pull it up, what they call Jacob's ladder, that 12-step ladder, that's pulling that energy up to ignite what the back of the at the base of the spine, that 33rd vertebrae,
yes,
which is your medulla oblongata, to activate the crown chakra. Yeah, I mean it's all about energy and increasing your energy to help you become self-actualized. As we know, Abraham's, you're familiar with Abraham's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid?
Abraham Maslow, yes, sir.
Exactly. So, and at the top of that is self-actualization, right?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, with that, that's enough said based off that. So that's the whole goal of, you know, of life, is to become self-actualized. That's what Yeshua, you know, who they call Jesus, that's what Christ consciousness is. He was self-actualized. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, self-actualized. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali, self-actualized. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, self-actualized. All these beings that come through to give us the message of man becoming one with Allah, man becoming one with Allah, man becoming one with, you know, higher being or most high, however you want to label it. That's what the message is for, and that's the goal. So again, a lot of people that say that because they're vibrating on a lower frequency, so they can't fathom these type of concepts, but they haven't raised their life force, their energy up.
I apologize for.
Go ahead.
Did you know that somebody came and revisited Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and he said that there was one at this is pretty new. There was another area at the top of the pyramid that's at the top of self-actualization, and it's called transcendence. Transcendence teaches self-actualization, like what you're doing right now. So
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal.
Yes.
If energy is neither created nor destroyed, only transferred, then there's no death. There's only transcendence.
Can you speak to Maslow's hierarchy of needs briefly? Since I pulled it up for you, the pyramid, since you brought it up, but is there anything you want to say about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's once I came across this, you know, I saw that what's really most important. Mm-hmm. And again, yeah, like the physiological needs, you know, the basic level that we have, you know, food, clothing, shelter, or I think, is that what it was?
Yes, food, and food, clothing, shelter, and some say sex.
Yeah. So the basic need, yeah, we need those things, because we're in the body, we're on earth, so we have to have those things. But
Yeah, and then this is the basic need. Then only after you have food, clothing, and shelter can you feel okay. Can you move up the ladder of self-actualization?
right, that's and that's true, yeah. But then again, children, we're self-actualized in the womb, technically. You know
Oh,
what I mean? So
wow.
it gets, yeah, it gets pretty deep
Wow. Wow.
because yeah, we have to have, and it's all societal based as well. Because
Mm,
look at, you have other societies that like these, let's go to the Amazon or other, who they
mhm.
call tribes that's outcasted or lost tribes or whatever. I don't know how you
Mhm.
lost when somebody see you, but uncontacted tribes and things like that. They live a way of life to where, yeah, they have food, clothing, and shelter, but it's not to where the way that we look at it. Like we
Right.
spend our last dime just to get, designer or things like that. That's not really a need. That's
Mm.
more of a luxury than anything. But yeah, those steps, yeah, you have to have them. Physiologicals, safety,
I'll put it back. Pick it back up.
yeah, social. You don't necessarily, as long as you're on the path, you just automatically, your frequency will have people gravitate towards you socially. You don't have to necessarily be a social being or constantly be at social functions. Also, although like being completely in isolation is not necessarily the best for you, but you have some people say, "Well, I do certain things socially," or
Mm.
"I didn't really want to do it, but because I was in a social setting, I just chose to do it." That's that's
Yeah.
that's actually low self-esteem, as opposed to what's the next step. We focus on self-esteem.
And you
Um,
see here, this social too, it talks about the need for belonging. And you see a lot of people that don't have they don't feel like they don't belong there in isolation because we don't have the tribe. We don't have the family set up the way we used to have it. So the only way people typically feel like they're loved and they belong is if they're part of a community, part of a tribe, part of a family. And that is after you feel part of a community and a family, that is then when you can move up to actually feeling good about yourself and having self-esteem, typically speaking.
yeah, typically, but that's why the path is lined up for us. The path of self-actualization, because
Mm,
it'll kind of dismiss those things. Yeah,
mhm.
ideally, we would all love to have the soul tribe offline, right? To we can
Right,
we live in
right,
the same
right.
area and things like that. But the fact that we all know that we exist will suffice, us enough until maybe we can create that form of utopia,
Mm,
to where it's where it's not just strictly online and more so offline. But yeah,
yes.
but that's what the discipline, the spiritual practices, the physical, the emotional and mental, the financial, all these forms of fitness is to prepare you for a life to where yeah, you wake up just to realize everyone else is asleep. So how do you
Mm,
respond to that? You know?
mm,
So that's what taking these steps, even reading, and knowing how to read the scriptures or, the Vedas or different forms of a text to show that, these things are supposed to happen because of the cycle that we're in, which is, the Kali Yuga cycle, or what we're transitioning to the age of Aquarius. But the, once we get in that golden age, that's when
yes.
pretty much everyone will be, realized beings. But right now, it's probably the best time to be aware because the bar is kind of low. Not everybody is aware, and ignorance is bliss during this time right now. But
Mm,
again, we're
mm,
transitioning to that, that age of knowing, that age of Aquarius, or that um, technological area as well. We just can't allow our minds to think that the greatest technology is outside of us when we are the greatest technology.
ooh, I
Right?
love that.
There's
One
nothing
other
great.
thing I want to, sorry.
AI can't work without us.
Mm,
you know, and AI is just other spirits without a form, pretty much. That,
Yes, other spirits.
yeah.
Another thing, you mentioned breath work. Another thing that I experience with breath work is that I can visualize, see, and communicate with my ancestors that have transcended with breath work. I can literally like visualize them in my first eye in this area. And I can, during meditation and breath work, I don't want to say I can hear them. I can receive messages from them, and it's a beautiful experience. Like I will go through actually hearing them, see them. Like my husband transitioned about 4 years ago. When I do breath work and yoga, after we do yoga, we do meditation and breath work. I can literally through guided meditation experience seeing where he is, what the type of life he's living, the things that he are doing. I receive messages and downloads from him and others, but it's particularly my husband. I think that's amazing. I don't know if you've ever done any research on the relationship between breath work and maybe reaching higher spiritual dimensions, but have you ever heard of that at all?
Yeah, well, that's just the gifts of the holy breath. You know, there's literally certain exercises that you can do to, again, all you're doing is building up life force to help you to make yourself more of a vessel to receive those, you know, uploads or downloads to experience that. I mean, because again, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali in the Moorish Holy Quran, he mentions that man is not the body nor the soul. Man is a spirit and part of Allah. So again, if we know that we're not the body, and we utilize these practices to prove that and actually work on becoming more spiritually connected, then yeah, we're going to see ancestors. We're going to see whether it could be like in current time or dreams, visions. Yeah, it's going to happen because the veil is going to be thin to us because of the law of vibration. You know, everything moves, everything vibrates. All right, so depending on the level of your vibration is going to determine the level of your reality. So how much you're able to, you know, see not only with the windows of your souls, but with that first eye. So that's right and exact. And that's why science, modern science, they always try to, you know, ignore this idea of, you know, of God or the spiritual realm. They think that everything is physical, which is just,
it's not true.
Idiotic. And it's just, I mean, they had to have all types of proof to just try to put a bunch of equations and formulas on the board to make sense of things. When I can't see the wind, right? But if it's cold outside, I got to put a jacket on, right?
Right.
So that just because I can't see the wind doesn't mean it doesn't exist. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just the lower level of individuals or a frequency that inhibits us from even talking about these things or even being able to prove them. But what the proof is already there. And also, let me read from the Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 1, because we talk again. I was on that article about childhood and setting that foundation.
Yes.
Right.
As you're getting that, Sister Janet says, man became a living soul through the breath of life.
Exactly. So if you take the breath away, then what happened? The body collapsed, right? Simple as that. So obviously, we're not just that. Whatever that is that gets taken away, that collapse the body, that means that's what we are.
Oh, somebody said, Dr. Pruitt, I can't see how to support Coach Bay. The writing is too small. Okay, if you want to support Coach Bay's work or send him a donation, please send a cash app to $. Let's see where that is. Illuminated Fitness, $, ILLUMINATED FITNESS. Illuminated Fitness. Thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I apologize for that. Who said that? That was Sister Jacqueline. Dr. Pruitt, I can't see the support. Coach Bay is too small, and laugh out loud. Charmaine says, my ancestors are always around me when I go to my spiritual gathering. Others see them when I walk into the circle. Ooh, wow, I got chills. Ooh,
Yep.
ooh, you must be pretty powerful because I just hearing your words I'm gonna have chills all through my body, Sister Charmaine. That's
Exactly.
amazing. My ancestors are always around me when I go to my spiritual gathering. Others see
Always.
them when I walk into the circle.
Yeah, it just becomes difficult because when we incarnate into the flesh, I mean, we had that memory wipe, so we don't really realize what our journey was. We had to kind of get back to it
Yes.
because that memory is lost. But once we awaken, and then it's on and popping. And
Mm.
that's and just in this planet alone, just this in this society is one of the heaviest, densest, planets in society, because I mean, you got to truly be a spiritual warrior to be here and willing to stay here and not check out early, or premeditatedly, based on the waves of society breaking you down.
Let me ask you a
Go ahead.
question one before you get to that, Coach Bay. You are a coach, you are a physical fitness expert. Can you help people with physical fitness regimens? Like if we were to contact you, could you put something together for us if we pay for a consultation?
Yes. Yep. Meal plans, workout plans,
Yeah.
consultation.
Okay.
Yes. You want to discuss how life is going? Yeah. I definitely can do that.
Okay, let me put up your email to
Yeah.
contact Coach Bay for a meal plan, a fitness plan. This is exciting consultation. We got a coach of the soul tribe. I love it, Coach Bay. Please contact him at Illuminated Fitness 7, the number 7 at gmail.com. I'll put it in the chat for you and in the description section. And if you want to go ahead and send him a gift or a cash app blessing, family, send him a cash app to $Illuminated Fitness. But as we have gone into the golden era, we do want to become more disciplined. We want our bodies to be tight and physical and in good shape, because that helps us mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially.
Yep.
So please do what you can, family. Let's put our money where our mouth is, because a lot of us made different what resolutions that we're going to be more healthy, new year, new me. So let's put our money where our mouth is and give him a cash app blessing or a donation, and give him a call or send him an email so we can get this year started correctly. All right.
So it says, now seeds are as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. Let's think about that.
Okay.
They are not unfolded into life made manifest. What Soul Tribe? What do you all think that might mean? Or even Dr. Kid, what do you think that? What are you getting when you hear that?
Can you read it one more time?
Yeah. So it says, and it's not all of it, but just one more sentence left. But now seeds are perfect, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. The child is as perfect as the mother is.
Seeds? What's that word you're saying?
Seeds. That's correct. Yep. Seeds.
SEEDS.
Correct. Yep. Now seeds are perfect, as perfect as the source from which they come, but they are not unfolded into life made manifest. All right. The child is as perfect as the mother is. So again, we're talking about the childhood, that foundation that's being set. So basically meaning transitioning from potential energy to kinetic energy, or from knowing to potential greatness to actually embodying it. All right. So that's what it means for the not unfolded into life may manifest. So you have the potential. We have the potential to be great, but being great is not realized just because we say we're great, right? Or because we know, oh yeah, I'm great. You know you're great. You got to show and prove, right? So you got to embody that. So we have to live it. You got to become it. If the sun don't shine, be the sunshine, right?
Okay.
All right, and so that's what I wanted to connect that with that chapter for that article that we read that talked about childhood physical activity correlating to earnings in adulthood. And also, again, Proverbs 22:6, as I'm sure we all know, train up a child in the way that he should go.
Yes, sir.
When he is old, he will not depart from it. Right. All right. And I just have one more article to present.
Okay.
Well, not just one more, but it's just another one from it. Let's see here.
Again, family, you are listening to Coach Bay, a fitness expert and former collegiate athlete. He's able to do consultations, put together a fitness regimen with you, and a meal plan. If you're interested in contacting him, then please contact Coach Bay via email at illuminatedfitness7@gmail.com. And I'll put that in the chat for you, as well as in the description section of this video. And after he finishes his presentation, if you have questions, we'll set aside a few minutes for a question and answer as well.
Are you able to share this one? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oops, sorry. There we go. Let me put it back on the stage. Okay, it went away.
All right, so we have here the title, Does Regular Physical Activity Improve Personal Income? Empirical evidence from China. And I just read the first sentence of the abstract. Usually when you're looking at these articles, you can figure out just by looking at the abstract what it's going to really be about, just either reading the first two sentences of that paragraph or even the last two. It pretty much get the main point.
Okay.
This is a long article, so I won't read it to its entirety. But a lack of adequate exercise threatens human health, weakening human capital accumulation. All right. Now, adequate exercise, I'll go to the introduction. Did you see where it says,
let me see.
Scroll down to the introduction. And I'll just read the first.
I'm not able to scroll down here.
Okay.
But I would have to bring it up myself and then I can scroll down.
Okay. But you able to see it from me having it up?
I can see it. But I can't make the screen bigger. I can see it if I squint my eyes.
Okay.
But if this is something, if you sent it to me, I could bring it up.
Okay. Yeah, there was the article I sent for slide 7.
Okay, let me see.
The second article for slide 7.
Let's see. Childhood physical activity and adult earnings, that one or which one? Oh,
does regular physical activity improve personal income?
Got it. I got it. I'm about to bring it up.
And I really wanted, just the soul try to be able to see it as well.
Let me see where it is.
So they can kind of follow along.
Okay. So, when you move it, we can see it, but I'll bring it up.
Okay, that's fine.
You want to move it, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll move it. Yeah, as long as y'all can see it, that's fine.
Can y'all? Okay, when we add this to the screen, can you all read that? Is it legible for you? Let me know in the chat if you can read it. Put one in the chat, because if I share it though, I can expand it.
Okay.
Let me just see if they can see it. Can you see it?
And I can also drop the links in the chat as well, because it's
okay.
You can go back and read the articles.
Okay, that's fine.
If they need me to.
Nobody's saying if they can see it or not.
All right.
Is it easier for you if you're reading it, or do you want me to pull it up? What's best for you? They said it's tiny.
Yeah, I can. Okay.
So here it is for me. I don't know if you can see it if I share it, but I'll bring it up right quick. Can you see that, Coach? This is the abstract.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. So yeah.
Do you want to read the abstract, or you want me to go down?
Yeah, you go down to the introduction. I just read the first sentence of the abstract.
Okay.
So right there where I have it highlighted. Yeah. So adequate exercise and reasonable diet play important roles in human physical and mental health. The state of motion is innately human. Diet is the basic condition for human existence. Human ancestors lived by hunting and becoming all-around outdoor athletes to survive, although people no longer need to hunt for food in a highly convenient modern society. So most of us don't have to, hunt for our own food anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why you have to be careful with certain things you eat, because you don't know how it's really, how that animal was killed, and you have to take things like that in consideration, because it's actually, again, we know that spirit energy is real. So, they were slaughtered or just face a lot of fear and anxiety before they die, and that, it could affect us when we consume it.
Absolutely.
Although people no longer need, no longer need to hunt. So human beings have an increasing demand for a balanced diet. Therefore, adequate exercise and reasonable diet are essential for human health and well-being in modern society. All right. However, the lack of regular exercise has become a global phenomenon. For example, Guthold et al. And anytime you see a source that says et al., it just means that other writers was on the paper from the source that you're seeing. And based on data from 298 school-based surveys from 146 countries, regions and territories highlight that 85% of girls and 78% of boys globally do not meet the current physical activity standard, at least 1 hour per day. All right. According to the latest research from the WHO, 1 in 4 adults, 1.4 billion adults, is currently not getting enough physical activity. In addition, 199 IT data, which was on April 15, 2022, shows that in 2021, Japan had the highest percentage of people exercising every week in the world at 34%, while the United States was 18%, and China only 13%.
And interestingly enough, Japan has a population of older people. They live longer.
Exactly. So, which is proof of, yes, we have to deal with the law of decay, but there's also a possibility to be able to age gracefully. Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
So due to the general lack of adequate exercise in modern society, obesity, depression, heart disease, sleep disorders, and other unhealthy conditions are emerging in large numbers. Toff et al. Reported that approximately 1.5 to 4% of the global phenomenon suffers from the complex chronic diseases of severe obesity. And then they used the body mass index to measure that, which is weight divided by height in meters squared. Zhang et al. Showed that detection rate of subhealth status among Chinese medical students is 33%. The Global Risk Report has warned that the world is already facing the threat of numerous emergencies, and people need to deal with the risk through adequate exercise to avoid welfare damage. All right. So we go down to the next paragraph.
In theory or below that?
In theory, yep.
Okay.
In theory, regular physical activity can offer many beneficial rewards. As for individual physical and mental health, relevant studies, show that exercise can reduce the frequency of illness, improving depression and other mental illnesses, while introducing increased benefits to health and happiness. In terms of external communication, regular exercise can enhance the interaction between individuals, promote social contact, and relieve stress, which can generate social capital. Studies have also found that exercise can directly affect people's appearance and body condition, reducing individual obesity, which in turn would generate a psychological incentive for people to maintain the results of exercise through a healthy and low-fat diet. Interestingly, these traits can translate to higher earnings through the improved ability to work. Therefore, the relationship between physical activity and mediating factors such as health, personality, physical appearance, and diet may be the key to understanding how physical exercise affects personal income level. However, few studies have quantified the impact of physical activity on individual income levels. There is therefore an urgent need to further estimate the economic welfare effects of regular exercise to improve the enthusiasm of individuals to participate in physical exercise. All right, so the study proved that regular exercise was linked with a 3.79% increase in income compared with non-exercisers. For
Yes.
people who previously did not exercise, adopting regular exercise was associated with up to a 13.36% potential income increase. This study interpreted physical activity as a part of human capital development. Healthier, more active individuals may be more productive or better able to participate in work. So with these two studies, we can conclude that if it applies physically, then emotionally, mentally,
Yes.
financially, spiritually, it correlates also.
And for women, well, probably men too, but I know as a woman that the older you get, you start to lose body mass. And I mean, not body mass, muscle mass. You know, your body starts to become like more flabby. And I know that's because of a lack of
Yeah, that's
physical.
both. That's yeah, exactly. Yeah. So whether we work out or not, we're going to lose something, right?
Mhm.
but the thing is, the physical activity and other forms of fitness is to help you to appreciate just where you are, to age gracefully. But it would be a far more beneficial for you to work out as you age and then not working out at all.
Mm.
Or even again, we're not talking. We're talking about just physical activity. We don't have to just go to the gym to lift weights. There's again the tai chi, the yoga, as you was mentioning, the qigong, just movement. Period. Movement and flow is just what you want to perpetually do, as you age.
Yeah, because I think we underestimate sometimes the benefit of walking.
Exactly. Walking is far more better than running, despite what people say. Yeah, if you want to, lose some body fat, you might do it quicker by sprinting. Doing some sprints, some type of rigorous sprint regime.
Yes.
But overall, it's better for your bones. Walking, and it's just better for your body overall, especially if you've been doing it. You started being physically active as a child, and if you're in these, it's like say you play football or something like that, an extreme sport or things like that, when your body takes a toll, um, you want to ease into things or move gracefully, as you age.
Mm.
But run, even if you want to run on grass, or if you
Okay.
want to run, make sure you have the proper running shoes because that matters as well.
Yeah.
What type of shock you're putting off on certain pavements that you're running on? Are you running on concrete? Are you running on asphalt? Um, what are you running on? That's why a lot of runners, get shin splints or
Mm.
have extra fluid in their knees because of that. That adds up over time.
Sister Anna says she's walking right now while listening to y'all, to your family.
Yeah, so she's proving it. She's walking now. She's doing most. She's walking. That's her
Mhm.
physical fitness. She's listening. That's dealing with the emotional, mental. What we're talking about is helping her with the spiritual and financial. So she's getting it. She's getting a 360.
That's amazing. And then Greg says, I'm lifting heavy at near 70.
Yeah,
I'm wow.
exactly. And because he continued to do it. So
Mm.
again, it's not to deter you from doing from anything, but it's just again just to more inform you on the ways to approach it.
Mm.
But as man, we tend to actually get stronger, as we age, as long as we keep up that regimen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't know that either.
Mhm.
Okay.
Um, so let me read one more article.
Okay.
Um, and that was the impact of physical exercise on risk asset allocation.
Okay.
Shout out to Greg as well. Keep lifting. Greg, are you taking creatine?
Let's see if he mentions anything. Greg. Greg also been to Tokyo. Wow.
Yeah.
He hasn't said if he's taking creatine, but what is creatine?
Well, creatine monohydrate, it's already in our body, but what it does, it helps with focus, um, brain fog,
Mm.
of course, physical strength, It's a good supplement that you can utilize. That's one of the. That's a supplement I would, if I would recommend a supplement as far as like for someone that lifts or things like that, I would recommend creatine, as long as they drinking ample enough water basically
Okay.
to combat it.
He says, no, I'm not. He's not
Okay.
taking creatine.
Awesome. Yeah. But I know that's when most people get older, they'll start utilizing creatine. I took creatine when I was younger, and a lot of other supplements as well. And I'll kind of touch on that later in the presentation. But yeah, it definitely helps you with strength and everything overall. But the big thing about creatine is most people say is because of I think it's DHA, but the chemical that promotes balding, and people say that creatine speeds that up, but it's not. There's no link to be correlated with that.
Okay.
So I would say stay away from steroids if you think about it, and if you are taking creatine, and go ahead and go with that. But it's not needed. Nothing is needed. We have everything that we need. We came with everything we need.
We're buffering. Okay, we were buffering. Sister Lanissa said, when I don't walk, sometimes my body does not feel well. It doesn't feel good at all.
Yeah, movement. Got what is it? Isaac's, Newton's, I think it's second law of motion. A body at rest stays at rest.
Ooh, okay.
So if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Wow.
So yeah, you want to keep that movement. It's easy to get stagnant, and from stagnation leads to deterioration. In my opinion. All right, so are you able to see this article?
Yes. What is the correlation? That one I just pulled up. I pulled it up.
Oh, let me stop here. Let me stop sharing that. The article, the impact of
Okay, let me see.
Of physical exercise on risk asset allocation, because we're stepping into the
Where's that one? Okay, hold on.
We're stepping into the investing form of finance and correlating that with exercise, with fitness.
I'll bring it up.
Okay.
Before I do, Sister Jacqueline has a question for you and me. Dr. Key, I have problems with my feet due to diabetes. I've incorporated riding a stationary bike to get movement in my body. What's the starting amount of time for beginners?
I mean, it's kind of subjective, up to you. I mean, if you can do 10 to 20 minutes, that'd be fine. Maybe 3 days a week. And if that becomes comfortable, you can increase in time or increase the days. But with a bike, you can really go pretty much until you get tired with the bike, because it's good. It's stationary movement, so it's not too much on your body, too much on your feet. You're constantly sitting down in that cycle. Depending on the type of bike she has, I noticed some that sit lower to the ground, and your feet is kind of stretched out, and the ones that sit higher up, your feet hang a little bit more. But yeah, I was 10 to 20 minutes, and if nothing too strenuous.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
The impact of physical exercise on risk asset allocation.
Yep.
Here we go.
All right. So this paper examines the relationship between physical exercise and risky asset allocation. Physical exercise increases respondents' risky assets allocation. Potential channels are through enhancing individuals' health and future confidence. All right, so this one, I'll read the abstracts. It's not that long.
Okay.
And not too wordy, not too fluffy of stuff that we don't necessarily need. And then I'll just read the first 4 paragraphs.
Okay.
Under the introduction. So we study the relationship between physical exercise and the risky asset allocation using data from the CFPS, or China Family Panel Studies, from 2010 and 2022. We find that physical exercise increases respondents' risky asset allocation, which through enhancing individuals' health and future confidence, thus elevating risk tolerance and preference. Cross-section tests show that the promotion of risky asset allocation is stronger among groups with higher income
or less economic pressure. Our research findings provide references for policymakers in promoting the coordinated development of national fitness and enhancing residents' participation in the financial market.
Wow. Okay.
So I'll go to the introduction. Household financial issues have been becoming an increasingly important topic in economic research, and there's a rich accumulation of literature. Among them, whether and to what extent households participate in risky asset allocation has long received high attention from academia. This not only relates to the accumulation and distribution of family wealth, but also directly affects the stability of the financial market. Risk asset allocation can help families achieve wealth appreciation, while it is also accompanied by uncertainties brought about by market fluctuations. Therefore, understanding the determinants of household risk asset allocation is of great significance for revealing the mechanism of household financial behavior and improving the structure of capital market. Physical exercise as an important lifestyle choice may influence families' financial decisions through multiple channels. However, there's a lack of systematic empirical tests on the relationship between them. Existing literature indicates that physical exercise can enhance an individual's risk tolerance by improving physical and mental health and reducing the risk of diseases, thereby promoting the allocation of risky assets in the investment portfolio.
Wow.
Right.
Additionally, physical exercise can also enhance an individual's confidence and optimism, elevating their confidence in future life and reducing the degree of risk aversion and enhancing risky preference.
Now, risk aversion, which is just to prefer lower risk or predictive outcomes. So in investing, really, or in fitness, anything, we get what we give. So no risk or low risk, you get a low reward. You know what I mean? And high risk, usually high risk doesn't always guarantee it, but more than likely, if you take that high risk at the right time, if you have the risk tolerance to do something, you can get the high reward. All right. When shaping an investment portfolio, families not only consider the current health conditions, but also weigh potential health risks in the future. Existing studies have shown that the health shocks can have a negative impact on a family's risk-bearing capacity. Moreover, Rosen and Wu found that compared with healthy families, unhealthy individuals were more inclined to allocate their wealth to safe assets, and the probability of holding risky assets such as bonds and stocks was significantly reduced. Atala et al. Also pointed out that the risk asset allocation decisions of families are constrained by the perceived health status. If the current health status is poor, it means a higher risk of out-of-pocket medical expenses, thereby forcing families to reduce their exposure to financial risk. On the other hand, confidence in the future will also significantly promote the holding of risky assets. Sekshinka et al. Found that individuals who were more optimistic about their own future and the future of society as a whole were more inclined to undertake financial risk.
Interesting.
Angelin and Cavapazzi further verified that there's a significant positive correlation between optimism and stock holdings. Meanwhile, Kupik et al. Also indicated that there's a significant positive correlation between individual confidence and household holdings of risky assets such as stocks. Thus, we posit that physical exercise can promote an individual's risky asset allocation by improving their health and enhancing their confidence in the future. All right, 1, 2. So I just got 2 more paragraphs here, and then I'll go back to the presentation.
Okay.
To test our predictions, we use data from CFPS from 2010 to 2022 as the research sample. Risky assets specifically include stocks, bonds, funds, derivatives, trusts, products, foreign exchange products, right? Futures, options, and other financial assets. We measure the risk asset allocation of households from 2 aspects: the amount of risk financial assets held by households and the proportion of risk financial assets held by households. We quantify the scale of risky asset allocation by adding 1 to risky assets and taking the logarithm. And following Liu et al., further measure the risky assets investment by using the proportion of risky assets in the total financial assets of households. For the proxy of independent variables, exercise frequency, following Zhu et al., based on the how many times did you exercise last week in the CFPS questionnaire. We construct a continuous variable to measure the frequency of physical exercise. So we logging off that questionnaire, how many times did you exercise? We also control for the year fixed effects and province of fixed effects to mitigate the concern of time invariant provincial characteristics and common shocks at the macro level on the results, so the grand scheme of things. We find that physical exercise significantly promotes family allocation and risky assets. We examine 2 key channels of physical exercise and find that physical exercise can increase family allocation of risky assets by enhancing an individual's health and future confidence, thus alleviating their risk tolerance and preference. Additionally, we employ a variety of robustness tests, including the change in variable proxies and adjusting the sample intervals to verify the reliability of the results. We also use the Heckman 2-stage estimation method, propensity score, a matching method to alleviate the selectivity bias caused by unobservable factors. So any biases or differentiations in the results, they use that to combat it. Furthermore, we measure an individual's economic capacity and financial pressure respectively by wage income and housing loan, and find that promotion effect of physical exercise on allocation of risky assets is stronger among groups with higher income or less economic pressure. All right. So let's go back here.
All right. So this study found that physical exercise tend to hold a greater proportion of investments. The author suggests that exercise can enhance health, confidence about the future, risk tolerance, and optimism, which in turn encourages greater participation in financial markets. And so this means that exercise behavior correlates with financial behavior, which is the point of this, this presentation. Higher allocation to investments with risk and growth potential, which is a key component of investing strategy. So investing is meant to give you an option for more freedom, right? If your investments outweigh your expenses, you're already financially free, right?
Yes.
This is why HYSAs or high yield savings accounts, HASs, health savings accounts, index funds, precious metals, foreign currencies, real estate, etc., can all be used as vehicles towards long-term investment or growth or freedom. All right, and again we're talking based on commonalities, because at any time we could be there as far as this great wealth transfer, this great reset, right? So
Yes,
based off the way the system is today, these are some of the vehicles that we can utilize. These vehicles will help you outperform the inflation rate, which is, I believe, 2.7%, and that'll help you keep your purchasing power. Again, ideally, gold and silver is going crazy as well, so that's also, of course, the crypto as well, as we all know in Soul Drop. I'm kind of just giving a brief synopsis of investing. So investing, so that's finance. So how do we look at this in fitness? Well, the body's inflation, right? We want to protect our finances against inflation. That's why we invest. So how do we protect our body? What's inflation for the body? So the body's inflation is just inflammation, right? So we invest in ourselves by doing exercise and eating the proper foods to avoid the inflammation as much as we can. So investing in proper rest and healing techniques also to avoid inflammation or even injury. Get that massage. Take that yoga class, right?
Yes.
Get that deep stretching in, because again, working out is cool, but recovery is more cool. That's where the growth really takes place, in the recovery.
The stretching, is that what you're calling recovery?
What's that?
Stretching, is that part? Is that what you're calling?
The yoga, the massages, the yoga, the stretching.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a form of recovery, which is a part of fitness as well. That's where the growth takes place. So For example, when we're in a weight room, we're lifting weights, we're tearing down the muscles. That's how you build muscle. You have to tear them down. But when you get the good rest and recovery, then that's what actually not only speeds up the process, but it makes the process more fulfilling. Now, not to make light of, our the prisoners or anything like that that's in prison, but you see how they're able to build up their bodies because all they're doing is working out,
Yes.
sitting around recovering, and eating, and resting pretty much. And you see the results of that.
Yes.
Now, that's not I'm not advising anyone to take that route just to experience that or anything like that. I'm just saying the correlation of that. I'm making a point. That's all. So that will keep us balanced emotionally, mentally, by not having too much dopamine activated and not enough serotonin regulation, and vice versa. All right.
Let's see. Brother Greg says 70 is the new 40.
Exactly. See, exactly. Once you're taking care of yourself, you'll surprise yourself at what you can do.
He's working out because he says, I have a fear of becoming feeble. I know that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The greatest person that's going to be there for that old you is that version of you now. So you take care of that version now, then of course you have family and things like that, but you don't want to have to be in a position to where you absolutely have to depend on someone else to care for you. Now, if situations happen, again, accept it with grace. But ideally, if you can control it as much as you can, just strive towards that. All right. I think that was the...
Let's see, we got another one. Physical activity and health. Do you want to go over that one, or are you good?
Okay, yeah. So I did have... I thought I was on... What's that slide? Yeah, so I got going slide 9. Yeah, that's the last one I want to go over. That'll be the last article
that I'll pull up. I'll just read, the first sentence of the abstract.
Okay.
And then because this is sort of long, and then I'll just go into the highlights and
okay.
Well, it's not too long. I just go into highlights and introduction.
Okay.
Introduction. I got tongue tied there. Wait, let me take this. Sipping my yak. Just kidding. Got my coconut water. All right. So physical activity and health services utilization and costs among U.S. adults. So now we're transitioning to that other form of finance, which is protection. All right. Physically active adults were more likely to use preventive and office-based services. Physically active adults incurred lower use of inpatient care, emergency room. Physical activity incurred lower use of home health care and prescription medicine. Physical activity incurred $27 less per capita expenditure for office-based visits. Physical activity incurred $351 and $52 less for inpatient visits in home health.
Wow.
All right. The objective of this study was to examine the relationship between physical activity and health services utilization and costs among adults aged 18 and older in the U.S. And the data came from the Medical Expenditure Panel Survey Household. All right, so I'll go to the introduction.
Okay.
Promoting regular physical activity is a public health priority. Engaging in regular physical activity has demonstrated health benefits from reducing morbidity, delaying the onset of chronic diseases, and preventing premature mortality. And that's according to the Physical Activity Guidelines Advisory Committee. Inversely, physical inactivity increases the risk for chronic diseases and premature mortality. And as Greg said, 40 is the new 70. So keeping that physical activity active instead of inactive is how he can speak truth to power about that. Whether the health benefits of regular physical activity can be translated into reduced demands for health service and costs is less clear,
Physical activities leads to better health status, which can reduce the needs for health services. Physical activity is also a positive self-care behavior, which could decrease demand for professional help. Previous studies have reported mixed findings on the impact of physical activity on health services utilization and costs. Several studies have shown that physically active individuals have a lower level of overall health service utilization compared to physically inactive individuals. However, the two studies reported little impact of physical activity on physician visits, ER visits, and short-term healthcare costs. Prior studies regarding the impact of physical activity on health services utilization and costs are limited in several ways. The majority of existing studies on healthcare services utilization focus on older adults or people with specific health conditions such as asthma, obstructive pulmonary disease, arthritis, and diabetes, limiting their ability to generalize to a larger population. A few studies that examine the impact of physical activity on healthcare costs focus on employees and fitness programs. Furthermore, previous studies have predominantly conducted outside the United States. Given the difference in the healthcare systems and policies across countries, the impact of physical activity on health service utilization and costs may be different in the United States. And as we know that, again, we don't have to necessarily see it verbatim in an article. We can kind of just look around and see that, it applies. In addition, few studies have assessed the impact of physical activity on multiple categories of health service utilization and costs, given that the healthcare costs have skyrocketed continue to grow rapidly in the United States. Keehan et al. A comprehensive examination of the relationship between physical activity and health services utilization and costs is needed in order to evaluate the full impact of physical activity and inform public policies to curb healthcare costs. This study examined the association of physical activity and utilizations and costs of 7 categories of health service in a nationally representative sample of U.S. adults. We hypothesized that adults who engage in regular physical activity will have a significantly lower level of health services utilization and costs compared to those who are physically inactive.
Wow.
All right. So overall, the research showed that U.S. adults who engage in regular, moderate, or vigorous physical activity have lower inpatient hospital visits, fewer emergency room and home health care visits, lower prescription drug use, and significantly lower overall healthcare expenditures compared with less active peers, which is a key factor of financial protection. And financial protection is simply safeguarding personal finances against unexpected shocks, medical bills, or financial losses, and building resilience through savings, investments, trust, and reduced costs. All right, so regular physical activity lowers healthcare spending or even the need of it for some. Also, reduce the bills that erode savings, lower long-term health costs, protect retirement finances, and reduce reliance on high out-of-pocket care later in life. Preventative fitness behaviors contribute to economic well-being by reducing costly chronic disease risk and extensive Medicare utilization. I believe it was Yeshua that mentions in the proverb, physician heal thyself.
Yes.
In the book of Luke as well, right?
Yes.
All right. So being physically active isn't just good for your body's your body. It's financial protection because it helps prevent expensive health problems, medical bills that can otherwise drain savings over time, which of course correlates with spiritual and emotional, so that's mental fitness as well. All right. Let me share the next slide.
Did you say there's another slide? I want to make sure I bring it up. Oh, you're going to bring it up.
I got another slide, but that was the last. Yeah, that was the last article. So I'll go into the subtitle now. All right. So again, the title was this was fitness and finance correlating pretty much, and under that was how discipline and gratitude was necessary in both areas.
Yes.
So in fitness and finance, both are discipline and gratitude being necessary. So both are long-term gains. Why discipline and gratitude needs to be necessary.
There's no quick fix or shortcuts if you truly want to be successful in these two areas. Discipline and gratitude are the two traits that keep you playing long enough to win. Right. So discipline is the mitochondria of progress. So we know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of cells. So discipline would be the powerhouse of progress. Right. In fitness, when motivation fades, results come from showing up. Progress is built on boring consistency. So that's meals, reps, recovery. Depending on your goals, you might be easier or convenient to eat the same meals over and over. You know what I mean? Again, but it takes an enormous amount of discipline to do that. Discipline prevents emotional decisions like skipping workouts, crash dieting, or even overtraining. So doing what works, even when it's inconvenient, equals discipline and fitness. All right. So in finance, wealth is built through consistent savings, regular investing, and controlled spending. Discipline prevents emotional money mistakes like panic selling, lifestyle inflation, or impulse buying. Sticking to the plan despite discomfort is discipline and fitness. In finance. So sticking to the plan despite the discomfort is discipline and finance. So you might want to make that sacrifice or that purchase because you know you want to save. You're saving up for something. All right, something that's more important than what you want to, that purchase you might want to buy.
Right.
In both areas, discipline protects you from yourself. All right. So gratitude is the regulator of grace and patience. So in fitness, gratitude helps you appreciate your body while improving it. And appreciating your body is very pivotal. It avoids comparison and burnout. Also, respect recovery and longevity, as we were discussing the recovery importance. Without it, you chase extremes. For example, one can suffer from body dysmorphia or never thinking they're strong enough. In finance, gratitude reduces reckless risk-taking, prevents never enough syndrome, and encourages sustainable wealth building. So sustainable. So if you're grateful and you got that goal, I want to build my emergency fund up to $1,000. All right. You're going to actually stay focused because you're grateful to be able to do it, especially if you have the funds to be able to do so. Or even if you have to make the budget, you're grateful because you came into the awareness of how to make the budget and see that it can actually work to create that emergency fund. Because I believe I'll say Americans, I guess, but most people here, I forgot the percentage. I think it was like 40 or so percent, maybe higher, but don't have an extra $1,000 to take care of an emergency.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, in savings. So without gratitude, one can overspend to keep up, gamble instead of invest, or suffer from anxiety even when progress is being made. So success requires discipline to move forward and gratitude to stay grounded. So discipline handles the doing and gratitude handles the being. And I want to go into this next slide because this is me from this is like I was like 24 or 26 or something like that.
Okay.
This in college. And this is an example of what happens with discipline without gratitude. Now you might see here that the shell might look good to some. Say, yeah, you're pretty swole and cut up and things like that. However, I was chasing extremes, like I mentioned. I was never satisfied with this version of my body. I was always looking for more. Not really focusing on cultivating the fruits of spirit, just more so looking at physicality. And I had to eat I was eating like 5 to 7 meals a day. So I was eating when I wasn't even hungry, just to get this build, to get this look. And again, it's not to knock anybody, but it's just it's subjective. So it's my personal revelation to say I felt more sluggish.
and it's just I'm grateful for the experience because I have something to compare it to where I am on my journey now. But it's just like we don't chase, we attract. So there's no need to be dissatisfied or never feel like you're not enough when you're looking at the mirror. And also, you don't want to get into that area of life where you're seeking validation from others as well. Obviously, that was the case in here. Now, this is from a few months ago, an example of discipline and gratitude. So now I was introduced to fasting.
Yes. Wow.
I know what it is to even eat one meal a day, 1 to 2 meals a day. I was really in this period right here in this picture, I was fluctuating between 1 to 2 meals a day, avoiding being that glutton, if you will, because a lot of bodybuilders, they're swollen and things like that. They're huge and things, but consuming an enormous amount of calories for a show is not why you're here. That's not why you incarnated. That helps you create more karma than it does burning it up. Right. So again, I'm introduced to hot yoga, meditation, one meal a day fasting, no meat here. The other picture, I ate consuming an enormous amount of meat. I'm dealing with the Leviticus 11 diet. What mainly only the meat I have is pretty much fish. Now I will say, I have dealt with the Genesis chapter 1 diet, which pretty much plant-based, completely plant-based or vegan. And I will say I did have a lot of energy based on that diet. I believe in my older years, I might once I'm done lifting weights, and I'm doing just like my practice is coming from more of my spiritual fitness.
Yes.
As opposed to the physical fitness, and for physically, I just do more calisthenics, and that's when I'm incorporating calisthenics with this body as well. I'm trying to find a like for that. But you don't have to just lift weights. There's other options that you have that you can take. More gratitude, discipline was there, and I linked it with the gratitude, in which maybe I'm not as big in this picture, but how I feel more amazing. I feel lighter. Don't feel as sluggish, and ready to take on the day. Now, again, I'm not completely upset with the previous body. I accomplished a lot of great things, but as far as being on the path, I believe this is the rate or the status or the vision that I was looking for actually in my old body. All right. So to conclude, active lifestyles are associated with reduced healthcare costs and higher productivity, which improves financial outcomes. Financial literacy is correlated with positive physical activity habits, suggesting some behavioral overlap, self-control, planning, etc. People who regularly exercise may also demonstrate better financial planning and savings behavior. Financial stress can worsen health, creating a vicious cycle of cost and stress. All right. So that's where that financial fitness is also pivotal as well. So basically in life, the desire to live is actually the desire to suffer. Right. It may sound like, oh, what are you talking about? Suffering. No, man, I don't want to suffer. Well, life is suffering. Life is pain. I mean, upon us being born, the umbilical cord is cut. So we're cut off from our mother, our connection from our mother when it's supposed to fall off.
Right.
Some of us are spanked in order to cry. Us as men, we're getting our foreskin clipped off. We're getting circumcised, just because as a welcome to Earth type thing. We get our foot stamped in ink before we take our first steps on grass or first steps on earth,
That's crazy.
they stamp our foot on ink to create a birth certificate written on bond paper that we're not told about. So again, if that's not pain, if that's not suffering,
Mhm.
I don't know what is. Now, what do you do? Did you say, "Oh, it's too tough"? No, you got to have a desire to live and appreciate the desire, the experience that you're able to have on earth or in the flesh. So, therefore, either you suffer the pain of discipline or
Oh,
you suffer the pain of disappointment and regret. There's really no other way around that.
yes, sir.
Um, so, avoidance is never the way, and embracing the journey is the path. Right? We don't run from the journey. We don't avoid it. We don't try to get out of here earlier than we, or prematurely in other ways. That's kind of like not to knock what anybody has going on, but suicide, you're going to have to do it over anyway. So you might as well just deal with the suffering and overcome it. Discipline says observe, stay calm, and be in control. More importantly, as Rumi said, who was a great Sufi poet, gratitude is wine for the soul. Go ahead and get drunk.
I
So
love it.
Be the way and Islam.
That was beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was amazing. You have a comment here, and we got about 4 minutes left before this timer goes off, but I wanted to show you this comment. Oh, if I can find it, it just went away. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, but somebody sent a comment. I'll read it on YouTube. And he said, "Hey, Sister Kia, this is the real star, Nyota. Nice discussion about physical principles that builds a wealthy life. I'm an administrator, and keeping the body fit keeps me mentally sharp. It is true." I love it.
It's all connected and all
It's
correlates. And I just want to thank you as well, because you kind of
You're welcome.
made me have to show improve, because I was just kind of mentioning, the last show, I just kind of mentioned something about fitness. Like, oh, fitness, like, yeah, correlate with finance. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you can come on and do a show to make sure to show you're not just talking
Yes.
on the side of your neck. So I appreciate for creating that challenge and making and allowing me to be useful to do something and meet a deadline.
Oh, it was amazing. We need to know about the correlation between fitness and finance, because we're moving into an era where we want to live longer to enjoy the wealth.
Right.
Yes, sir. Now, where can people find your work?
Well, they can reach me to my email, because I'm revamping one of my websites. So I
Okay.
haven't got it done. Of course, you can go to my YouTube page, but if you want to do like a consultation, or if you wanted a meal plan or a workout regimen, in whatever form of fitness that you're looking in, they can email me at illuminatedfitness7@gmail.com.
That's awesome. So, family, take advantage of the coach. We have a coach of the Soul Tribe. Help us get in shape, help us eat well, help us stay on track with nutrition. So, email him here again at illuminatedfitness7@gmail.com. If you desire to send him a donation, then please support him by sending him a Cash App at $Illuminated Fitness. I will also put the link of his YouTube channel up in the description section and in the chat, and I did pull it up for you. So somebody said that's good. This is so true. It was a great presentation. Thank you so much. He's also known as the Adept Moore. So thank you so much, Coach Bay, the Adept Moore. Any final thing? I give you a minute to say something final.
Again, I'm grateful for the opportunity to present to the Soul Tribe, and you having me on. Not too much to say, but just I'll just leave you all with, just be the way. Don't let others try to convince you about how you want to live your life. As long as you're, on the path, as long as you are benefiting, as long as you're feeling good, fit, strong, healthy in all ways, not just physically, and then just stay the course and be the way. Know thyself, and show thyself approved.
I love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. We got just a few seconds left. I appreciate you, Soul Tribe, for listening to Coach Bay. I'm Dr. Kia Pruitt. You heard Coach Bay. We trust we've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Go out and make this a great day, family. Peace.
Peace.